Hold your breath. Make a wish. Count to 3.
Come with me.
And you'll be in a world of pure imagination when you buy a ticket to see this movie, because damn is it magical. Hi everybody, Anthony here from Awesome Anthony Productions, and today I'm going to give you my review of Wonka. But before we get started, you know exactly what to do. At the end of the video, if I've earned it, please leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell so that you never miss any of my new reviews. Now let's get into it. Wonka stars Timothée Chalamet as, who else, Willy Wonka.
You see, I'm something of a magician, inventor, and chocolate maker. So quiet up and listen down. Nope, scratch that. Reverse it.
A younger Willy Wonka than what we've seen in the other movies, who travels to a new town to sell his one-of-a-kind chocolate creations, but ends up sabotaged thanks to the chocolate cartel, Prodnose, Fickelgruber, and Slugworth, played by Matt Lucas, Matthew Bainton, and Patterson Joseph, who are fully in the pockets of the chocoholic chief of police, played by Keegan-Michael Key. After this, Wonka ends up swindled by the evil innkeeper's Mrs. Scrubbit, played by a delightfully disgusting Olivia Colman, and Mr. Bleacher, played by an equally disgusting Tom Davis, who trick him into being an indentured servant stuck with them working off an enormous debt. Here, Wonka meets the other servants who were swindled in the exact same way, including Jim Carter's Abacus Crunch, Natasha Rothwell's Piper Benz, Rich Fulcher's Larry Chucklesworth, Rakhi Thakurara's Lottie Bell, and, finally, a little orphan bookworm named Noodle, played by Calla Lane. Together, they devise a plan to bust Wonka out in secret during the day so that he can figure out how to sell his chocolate, pay off the debts of him and his new friends, and help him open up his very own chocolate shop. As long as they can fight out the chocolate cartel and the corrupt chief of police, of course. I was unaware that this was a musical until like the day before I saw it, thanks to the marketing that really didn't want to reveal this for some reason.
Why? Why did you lie to me?
And I'm gonna be honest, knowing that it was a prequel to one of the most classic films of all time based on a really beloved Roald Dahl story, I was a little nervous that it wasn't going to be that great. But from the very beginning, as Chalamet's Wonka arrives in this new, vibrant town, singing a catchy tune and dancing through the streets, I already had a smile on my face.
This is delightful.
And as we're introduced to this quirky, colorful world and this larger-than-life cast of characters, it reminded me immediately that the director of this film was Paul King, director of the fantastic Paddington movies, and any worries I had for this movie were gone. Timothée Chalamet is really great here as Willy Wonka, giving his own version of the character that feels a lot more in line with the original Willy Wonka from the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory book, making sure that he has that youthful optimism that you would expect from a younger Wonka, instead of the slightly cynical and more jaded one that we see in the 70s Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory played by Gene Wilder.
Don't just stand there, do something!
Help. Police. Murder.
Though Chalamet does have a lot of the mannerisms and whimsy that Gene Wilder did have in that movie, while still maintaining just a little bit of the insanity and weirdness that Johnny Depp brought to the character in 2005's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I'm making chocolate, of course. How do you like it? Dark, white, nutty, absolutely insane.
But he never really leans fully into either interpretation and does stand on his own. And the slight backstory given to him featuring his mother, played by an always great Sally Hawkins who only appears in flashbacks, along with the clever, hilarious writing, awesome soundtrack, and few strong emotional scenes that he has, really allow him to make this version of Wonka his own, while bringing enough familiarity to make fans of the other movies happy. The rest of the cast is incredibly strong here too, like Keegan-Michael Key, playing into his comedic talents with a bit of a self-aware edge that made sure his character always got a laugh out of me when he was on screen, along with the fact that he was basically playing his own version of the mayor from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Tourist, to chew and swallow. That is one big mayor.
Indulging throughout the entire film and getting bigger and bigger with every appearance thanks to all the chocolate he eats.
Pretty sure I've gained about 150 pounds in the last 2 weeks.
The rest of the villains, like Prodnose, Finkelgruber, and Slugworth, though they could have used a bit more in the way of development and backstory considering they're mainly just evil, like mustache-twirling villains, are pretty entertaining to watch as they slither around the screen, chewing the scenery and giving us one of the catchiest tunes in the movie. I also really enjoyed Olivia Colman's role here as Mrs. Scrubbit, who actually brought to mind Miss Hannigan from Annie. Playing up a falsely kind persona in the beginning before ripping the rug out from underneath Wonka's feet and showing how truly greedy and despicable she is, along with Tom Davis's dumb, gullible enforcer Goon and the way he pines over her. They sink into these roles with reckless abandon to the point where you just love to hate them.
Why are you the way that you are?
I also thought that even though they didn't really have much in the way of development either, the rest of the indentured servants that Wonka ends up teaming up with are very fun, quirky characters that add something unique to the movie and are definitely memorable. Now another standout here, besides Chalamet of course, is Cal Elaine's Noodle. Her backstory is tragic, and right away her and Wonka have an endearing brother-sister type relationship that immediately brings a rather large sense of heart into the film, whether it's Wonka introducing her to chocolate, Noodle teaching him how to read, or how well they work together when they're scheming to find ways for him to sell his chocolate on the streets.
Huh?
A double huh?
Do you have a pencil and paper?
Uh-huh.
I got an idea.
I'm not gonna lie though, I was a little worried for a minute that this movie was gonna end up being a bait and switch where Noodle ends up being the main character doing everything that Wonka should be doing while he's just along for the ride, but the film gives both of them plenty of moments to shine without putting the other down, and the way that both of their stories wrap up at the end was nothing short of heartwarming. Oh, I almost forgot Rowan Atkinson and Hugh Grant. They both have much smaller roles than what's shown in the trailers, but in the case of Rowan Atkinson playing a corrupt priest that is also addicted to chocolate like the chief of police, he channels that physical comedy that made him famous in the first place, while having a few jokes that land pretty well, while Hugh Grant is absolutely hysterical as the first Oompa Loompa that Wonka meets, showing up at a few pivotal points in the movie to either make you laugh or help him get out of a sticky situation. And the CGI used on him is absolutely incredible.
So you're the funny little man who's been following me.
I will have you know that I am a perfectly respectable size for an Oompa Loompa.
Especially when there is any close-up of his face, showing realistic skin and eyes that made me think, wow, the Uncanny Valley is nowhere near this movie.
Well done! Well done!
And the rest of the CGI is like that too, including scenes with a fully CGI giraffe that was absolutely astounding to watch, especially seeing the way that it interacts with the human characters. The last thing I'll mention here is the soundtrack, filled with catchy tunes, an emotional ballad or two, and even a show-stopping number about Wonka selling his chocolate in the middle of the film that's been stuck in my head ever since I left the theater. If I did have any complaints though, they're small and I brought them up already. It's the lack of development for a lot of the side characters, especially the villains, and the fact that though this is thankfully a movie that's under 2 hours, it does drag a little bit in the second act. But besides these complaints, I can confidently recommend Wonka to anybody that's a fan of Roald Dahl's original book or either of the two adaptations, as well as to any parents out there looking for a fun, whimsical, family-friendly movie with a great message, catchy songs, strong performances from everybody involved, especially Timothée Chalamet, an emotional core that definitely works, and most importantly in this day and age, no divisive politics weighing it down. And it really left me excited for the next Paddington movie. And that's my review of Wonka. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this review, you know exactly what to do. I said it in the beginning. Please leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss any of my new content. While you're at it, you can scroll down in the description, find the links to my social media, leave a comment, let me know if you saw the movie and what you thought, and if you want more of my content, you can click or tap on these cards right here. They'll take you to my review of The Boy and the Heron, or just over to my channel where you can check out my reviews, my shorts, and my old shit. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time for my review of the next film from Yorgos Lanthimos and Emma Stone, Poor Things.